So, out here, first interview of the LFOD road trip in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Teddy Meanface. What's happening, man?
No, nothing much. Glad to be here.
Yeah, I'm glad you're here, you know? This was cool. We got to shout out King Philip.
Yeah.
He's the one that tagged you.
Definitely.
So we should talk.
Definitely appreciate it.
How do you know him?
I met him at a show that Latrell James was having. Shout out to Latrell James. Basically just like drove out there because I found out it was just like dope venue, and I'd been kind of linking with Latrell for a minute, and I just never took the time to get out there. You know, time wasn't right. So finally I just went out there and like met a whole bunch of people that like I just wasn't expecting to meet, you know. They were all kind of like, yo, we heard of you. I was like, what? Like, what are you, seriously? You know.
Was that Under the Bridge?
Yeah. That was like a cool show. Like Lupe was there.
Yup, Bia, Slain. Yeah, that was the Boston Cannabis Week.
Yeah.
Shout out the guys.
That was wild. Yeah, that was a fun time.
Yeah, he shouted you out on stage. So I was there. I remember that. We didn't look at that, but I remember he's like, "Oh, my producer came all the way." You know?
Yeah, that was crazy.
Because you did Grateful. I think you were the only other producer on still.
Yep. That was a shock too, because like so many of those songs were just like amazing. And then when I saw the track list, I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
He's like, "Yo, you're on the EP." I'm like, "Nah." But yeah, it was cool. It was an honor to be on that. You know, just like come out and see stuff like that. You know, and then it was like, you know, King Philip was like dudes I'd already been listening to just through Instagram. You know, so then it's like putting a face to the name. You know.
Yeah. How did you connect with Latrell then?
That was really just like crazy how that happened, because like, you know, you're used to like in this industry, you're used to just hitting up people like DMs and just like, hey, you know, I like what you did on this project, or I like this, and it's like, oh cool, thanks, you know, and they just keep it moving. Or sometimes like you get no response, you know.
Right.
Most of the time there's no response, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, just kind of like made it a habit to just reach out to the people that I liked, you know, a lot, you know, their work and everything. And I just reached out to him, and I wasn't expecting anything. I reached out to him because he was on the G project.
Okay.
So yeah, like G's debut album, he was on there. I think he produced like the second track, it was like General.
Okay.
And so I was crazy about that track, and like the whole project is great, but like, you know, that track was cool. And so I just reached out to him, and he was like, oh, yo, thanks. And then like probably like 2 minutes later, he's like, yo, your stuff's dope. Like, yo, let's link up. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? So that's kind of how that started. You know, from there, that was probably like a year and a half ago.
Okay.
From there, we just kept like, you know, linking and just like vibing, sending each other stuff, and just like went from there.
That's what's up. Yeah, Latrell's the man. He says hello, by the way.
He's cool.
I asked him if he had any questions for you. He said, just tell him I said hi.
What's up? Shout out to Latrell. Cool dude.
Yeah, very cool. One of the coolest. So you also, you know, of course, make your own music.
Yeah.
I think just from, you don't have much on Instagram, so I get that that's how you're reaching out to people, but I managed to piece together a few things. Seems like it's been a bit of a journey.
Yeah, it definitely has. Like we kind of started over on Instagram.
Oh,
you know,
okay.
We're building up now, but you know, like when I started, it was kind of just like production stuff, you know. And as I kept going along, I was like, my page just looks like a producer page. Like all it is just like thumbnails of a computer screen, you know? I was like, all right, I need to change this up.
Throwing a monitor for
you know what I mean?
Switch it up every now and
it's
then.
like nothing about me as an artist, which is like really what I started doing, you know what I mean? Like I kind of just started the beats because like it's just easier to get the stuff I wanted that way, you know? So, you know, that's kind of how it started out.
How long ago was that?
It's not about maybe like 3 years ago I started making beats.
Okay.
You know, but I had like a kind of a extensive background in music. Like I've been playing music my whole life, you know.
All right.
But yeah, the beats started probably about 3 years ago, And it started, like I said, just because like I wanted to rap on certain stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and
couldn't
I wasn't.
find it.
Yeah, it was like hard to find it. You know, and you're just like you're broke. You're not trying to spend a ton on beats and everything. So
Yeah.
So plus I liked a lot of like, you know, what TDE was doing and everything, and it was just like, okay, that sound, like I need that.
Yeah.
All right, I don't hear it, I don't see it anywhere, I'm gonna make it. You know,
Yeah.
that's kind of like, and then that
Good for
developed
you.
into like hearing all types of other, you know, labels and people that were like popping at the time.
Yeah, so you started producing so you would have beats. At what
Yeah.
point did people hit you up asking for them, or did you make a decision to start shopping them?
I mean, honestly, at first it was just because like I wasn't giving them out. Like I didn't plan on, you know, like you said, shopping them around or ever being a producer for other people. I just thought it was just gonna be me, you know. And then people started, you know, like you're saying, hit me up, and I'm like, I guess I could sell this stuff. It's always that question of like, do you sell beats?
Yeah.
Like, not really, but
No.
I can. You know, how much you charge on all this stuff, and all these questions you don't know the answers to because
Yeah.
you're not really a producer, you know, per se. But yeah, it just kind of happened through like I got a cousin lives in Philly. Well, a lot of cousins in Philly, but one cousin in particular, Alter Heights. He's a rapper producer out of Philly, and he was kind of the first person I started, you know, giving my beats to and stuff like that. You know, but at first it was really just like friends and family. Like,
Yeah.
you know, here you can have this, like, you know. So. that's
Well,
kinda
you
how it
want to save
started.
the good ones for yourself, probably.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's you got to, you know. You gotta pull that yay, you know.
Yeah, you can have these ones.
Yeah, right. You know, I'm saving the best. But yeah, that's kind of how that started, and then like just the other stuff just happened from just reaching out to people, you know, and just being shocked, honestly, that they respond back and they're like, hey, I like your stuff, you know, so send me some stuff and let's work. That's kind of how it always happens with me. You know?
Congrats, it's gonna feel good.
Thanks. Yeah, it does.
That's what's up. And then you I listened to Odd Boy 2.
Yes.
You're watching the sequel first.
Yes.
That was an interesting decision there.
Yeah, there was no number one. You know, I just figured that with my journey so far, there's so much that happened before it, musically speaking, that's kind of like the part one that nobody has seen or heard, you know, in, you know, this community. So, because like a lot of people don't know like what I was doing before, you know, rapping or production. Like I haven't been doing this for long, you know, so that's kind of like where that idea came from. You know, it was Odd Boy first, and then I was like, all right, that's cool, but let's throw something for like detail in there, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like every event, you know, every open mic, you know, people are asking like, where's number one? It's like kind of like a cool thing to just say, like, there isn't, you know. Like,
you do the Star Wars thing.
Yeah, like
wait 15 years, it's coming.
Bet, yeah.
So is that Old Boy reference, or is that only me that saw that?
No.
I've seen it in the title. It looked like reminded me of Old Boy. You seen that movie?
Yeah, but no, it wasn't. But that would have been cool.
Okay.
That would have been cool if I had thought of that.
I was like, all right, crazy movie. So, but your style, so I think what went into that album was cool. So you were working on it for a while, plus working, you know, 9 to 5. And then what happened?
I mean, for the recording of that was kind of like, you know, I've been doing all these singles, you know, I was going for a certain sound at the time. Like I was listening to a lot of, like I said, TDE, like Kendrick, Isaiah Rashad. And so like a lot of my singles kind of emulated that sound. And then, you know, I just started kind of like branching out and hearing some of my, you know, favorite producers to date, and sound started changing. And then I was like, okay, none of like what I've made is going to match like what I'm doing now. So that's kind of how that EP came out, was because like all that music was just so different than everything I'd done before. So that's kind of where that's at. And it took longer than I wished, you know, just because, like you said, working, you know, 3 to 11:30, second shift, you know, and trying to write, you know, while you're at work and like producing it all and stuff like that, you know. So it took a while,
but I mean,
but it was like a crazy process. It was fun though.
Yeah,
it was like my first actual project, you know. So that was fun.
I mean, something happened and you quit that though, right?
Yeah.
And you went all in.
Yeah. You know, yeah, I just kind of said, like, I got to the point, as far as the job you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. So
I did a little bit of research. I know this.
Okay. All right. I was like, does he know? But nah. So yeah, that I had been trying to, like, you know, everybody tries to make that jump to doing music full time, and that was something I wanted to do for like a long time, since I was like in school.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of got, you know, thrown into the world of, you know, just what I was doing, the full-time, you know, day job. And you know, just like years pass by and you just keep doing that, and then you kind of lose sight of, you know, music. That's kind of what happened to me. So after like years of just, you know, doing, like, I was a pharmacy tech.
Okay.
So I was like counting pills and like making drugs and everything, but like not the cool way, you know, like I wasn't like in the streets, you know, but, but everybody used to make that, like, you know, a joke and everything. But yeah, just
like a square drug.
Yeah, like, you know, but yeah,
you were really in the lab.
Yeah, definitely was. Lab coat and everything, like mask, IV room, like, yeah, all that craziness. But yeah, I had the plan to leave there probably about a year or two in. Like, I just decided, like, nah, this isn't working. It's not for me. And I was just like, you know, dealing with like a lot of stuff at the time in life. And I said, like, all right, let me find something that like makes me happy again. And like ended up going back to music. Excuse me. But like, cause I started on a trumpet. Like, that's my first instrument.
Nice.
And so I went back to that, and I was just like trying to find stuff to deal with, like the everyday, you know, work day. And I just like randomly started rapping. I was like, I think I was listening to like Busta Rhymes in 2015.
Okay.
2015. Like, I was listening to Bus and like Kendrick, and yeah, I just started doing it for fun. And then like next thing you know, people were like, yo, you should record, you should write this stuff down. So, and that's like kind of went from there. And then fast forward, like I'm just like making tons of beats, like 13 hours a day, like get up, work on stuff, write, go to work, come home, do the same thing till like 7 in the morning. And like, you know, over time it just got to the point where I wanted to, you know, everybody has that dream to like leave and just do music full time. And so that's where it came from. It finally got to that point once I dropped, you know, a few of the singles, and I worked with like Latrell. You know, it just got to the point where it was time. And like, there was a lot of stuff happening in that job that was just, you know, just the whole mental health.
Yeah.
You're just like, all right, I got to get out of here. Like, something bad's gonna happen. So yeah, just made the jump about a year ago. So here we are.
You loving it?
Yeah, it's a struggle.
Yeah.
Definitely it's a struggle, you know, but it's worth it, you know, the few things that have happened, you know, for me, like the minute that I left and started, you know, focusing on, you know, the music, and it kind of just like, you know, opens up, I don't know, opens up your mind, you know, you start just focusing differently. The whole sound changed actually as soon as I left. You know, my girlfriend was like, what, who? Like, is this the same producer and everything? So yeah, like everything just got happier and like all this stuff. I was like, cool. So that's kind of how that happened, and ever since then, like I've just been working and trying to link up with as many people as possible and put out work.
Word. And where's Teddy Meanface come from? Because you seem like a really nice guy.
Yeah, that's actually kind of funny that name. I've been thinking of names for a while. Like, I just didn't have one, And at first I was like, oh man, I could just go with like Travis, and then set like Travis Scott, like took that. So I was like, oh man, that's not gonna happen. But yeah, it was just like one of those things where I kept just trying to come up with names, and like after like 2 or 3 names that I was using at open mics and everything, like nothing really dropped. I used like, I think it was Third Eye. That's what I came out with, and that was like what some of my tracks were under.
Okay.
You know, like on Spotify and everything. And then after that, I was like, it's just too, you know, it's not unique really. So I just came up with Teddy because, you know, my girlfriend and other people had been saying like, oh, you know, like, you know, you're gaining weight and stuff like that. And so my girl was like, she just started calling me Teddy all the time. And I was like, I hate that name. Yeah. But then like as I was looking for stuff, I was like, all right, that's cool. And then like just the Meanface comes from like a lot of people at my job and like everyday life are just like, you know, you're just like chilling, you get in the zone. Like I guess I have this face on that like does not look happy, but really I'm just enjoying myself and like thinking.
It's like a do not disturb face.
Yeah, like exactly that. And it's always like the worst when you're just like zoned out, like, you know, listening to some music or something. And somebody comes up like, you okay? And it's like, yes.
I was.
Like I was, yes. But, you know, that's where that came from, because everybody just assumes that I'm like upset, you know. It's probably because I was at that job all the time.
Yeah. Well, you're proving them wrong. Yeah, the album sounds upbeat.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about, Sally Mae off rip, but like, it's in a bouncy way, you know?
Yeah. Just trying to, you know, create something that's like, gives me that feeling of like, you know, a lot of, just, you know, like soul stuff, you know, really into just like a unique sound that, you know, takes you somewhere, you know, rather than just listening to the norm.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's kind of what I was going with for that. And like I was really inspired at the time by one of my favorite producers, Cam Obi.
Okay.
So he had been working with like Chance and like Vic Mensa, and like I said, around that time I'd been producing for like 2 years. So once I found a producer, I was just like listening to everything they did and trying to emulate that. It's kind of like treating it the same way like I treated jazz, because like that's where I came from. And so yeah, like that's how that EP came about.
Yeah.
Just like being inspired by those cats.
Who inspires your horn playing?
I have to say Miles Davis, definitely. Woody Shaw. Woody Shaw is like, he was amazing. And alive, there's Tim Higgins. He's like this Swedish dude. Pretty amazing guy. He's been in Philly a bunch too. Like I met him once. But yeah, and then like a lot of inspiration, honestly, like as a musician, sometimes comes from like other instruments.
Mm-hmm.
So some of it was just like listening to Train, Joe Henderson, stuff like that. So yeah, that whole sound is, it's like, those guys are like something else. You know?
Yeah.
Like every genre like looks to those people and they're just like John Coltrane. Like,
yeah.
That sounds crazy, you know?
Jazz is incredible.
Yeah.
I'm heavy on not heavy, but hashtag listen to more jazz on Twitter. You get some gems in there. You know?
Yeah.
But I wanted to, before we got out of here, I noticed you also mentioned a publishing company.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that a bit?
Fifth Woods Music. So, yeah, that was kind of just like, I knew that starting where I was, that I wanted to, you know, just kind of control, you know, most, like my music. I wanted to control as much as I could. And, you know, when you're doing everything on your own, you know, you're trying to like mix it at home, you're making the beats, you're making everything, like I just decided like, well, let me do that too, you know, and when I upload music and everything, I'll just do it through that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of where that idea came from. And it was interesting because actually that idea came from Latrell.
Okay.
Because that should be noted. I learned a lot of stuff from that dude. But the day I quit, like, I called him up and I was like, how do you do what you do? Because I didn't.
I like that you didn't do it beforehand.
Yeah, like
after
I
you're like, yo, I did a thing,
like,
and
he was definitely, you know, surprised. But yeah, like I had done, you know, just kind of like some forethought, you know, to it, but at that point it was pretty abrupt.
Yeah.
So yeah, like even I was kind of taken back. I was like, all right, I need to find out exactly what I can do, because I can survive up until this point.
Yeah.
All right, how do I take the steps to, you know, further everything later on down the road in like 5-6 months? And so that ended up being like a 2-hour conversation, and he was just like telling me, you know, all the ways that you can, you know, just really make something happen in this. And he was just like, yeah, like me and my bro, shout out to Ted Boyd, amazing producer. He was like, yeah, me and my bro started a publishing company, and, you know, it's kind of like how we, you know, move and do a lot of stuff, trying to just keep the money in the family and everything. So I was like, word, that's where I'm going with that, you know. So that's kind of where that came from, you know, just hoping that we can keep moving it forward.
You looking for artists or anything to represent? How far has that gone?
It's really just me. It was just a way to kind of just like push the name and everything, especially when you're like reaching out to like music supervisors and everything, and just like trying to get placements and stuff like that.
You gotta have
like,
your paperwork in order,
yeah,
because they're
you
gonna
know,
ask like, what are the like rights, what are the
Exactly.
shares, and if
And
you're like, oh, I don't know, I made it, and here's the they're gonna be like, no, I'm not
and that's
touching
stuff
it.
I didn't know, you know. That's there's a lot to it, you know. Just like where I came from, it was just like years ago. We're talking back in like 2010. I was playing jazz around Philly, and I went to U Arts, like in Center City here, and like I'm just used to the ways to live off of that is just like playing shows, playing gigs, and, you know, you could be like wedding band, playing at, you know, Chris's down the street,
Right.
jazz club, or you could be like teaching, you know, private lessons and stuff like
Some
that.
sessions.
Yeah, you know, it wasn't my ideas never kind of spanned to getting commercial placement for stuff like that. You know, my view was always just like, I just want to play.
Right.
And so with this, that kind of like opened my mind, everything. I really did not know how much goes into it. You know, just like making sure, like you said, like the shares and everything, and who owns what, like
it's big business, man. That's why these companies have like giant departments of people that manage that.
Definitely. And so like that's where that publishing comes from, you know. It's just like, okay, cool, I have all this thing in place, and when they ask like, you know, who owns this or what is it, I'll just say that. It sounds a little bit more professional, you know, like you said. So
hell yeah.
Yeah.
So I know we just met, but can I make a request?
Sure.
So I listened to your album. I'm pretty sure I didn't hear your trumpet on it. My guy Ryan Easter is the only guy I've heard rip a trumpet solo and then start rapping on the track after. Can I get some trumpet in a future Teddy Meanface?
That's wrong, because there was trumpet on it.
Thank you. All right. I missed it.
Yeah, it was, I think it was only on the last track though, but it was like kind of, I incorporated a lot of it into the production of the song. And like I've soloed on other people's stuff, stuff that I've sent off, but, you know, on that project it was really just like trying to make an atmosphere and backgrounds and stuff like that. So Do You was really the only track that had it on there, you know. So yeah, like hopefully have more of it to come. Like it's always gonna be on there.
You kind of swatted me out of it. You're like, nah, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna keep making beats.
No, it's gonna be there. We'll see.
The world is waiting for that next, you know, trumpet sensation. They don't know it yet, but
it's hard, man, because like one thing I've always felt with this, and this is with like all music, I feel like sometimes when people see you as, you know, one thing, they kind of assume like that's like, I don't know, it's like kind of how you get branded, you know, that one thing. And it's like, I don't know if I'm explaining it right. It's like a certain vibe or opinion that like people get from you. They're like, okay, this guy, you know, he plays all these instruments, he does this, he's not really an artist. Like, okay, he's kind of like, he does this. Okay. You know what I mean? It's almost like a jack of all trades.
Okay.
And I always felt that, like, in this, I wanted to kind of like not show so much of what I can do and just kind of like give you the finished product.
Got you.
And then like a lot of times I wouldn't even say, you know, that I played on this or that I did this and that. First of all, I wasn't even telling people I was producing the stuff that I was making in the first place, because I just wanted that kind of like separation.
Okay.
You know?
So
you're not getting judged on like everything. It's kind of like, okay, see it, like they're paying attention to his bars more than, okay, we'll give you some extra points because you produced it too, or because like you also play trumpet. He's cool because he does all that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like,
don't want a gimmick.
Basically, that's like the best word that I could say.
All right, yeah. But you also kind of want to choose your box. You're like, if I'm gonna pick a box, it's gonna be rapper, singer, vocalist. You want the vocal box. Yeah,
it's kind of just like everything, and you know, like I said, I'm very inspired by like people like, you know, obviously like Kanye West, Cam Obi. Mm-hmm. You know, there's a ton of guys out there that, you know, J. Cole too. You know, he's one of those people that you respect him for his bars, you respect him for his, you know, his music, and then you forget that he produces as well. I feel like a lot of people look at him as like a rapper and not always like a producer first.
I could see that. I try to be positive when I talk about things, but I listen, like a lot of times more recently listening to Cole, I do find myself wishing he brought out of house production into it more often. So I notice it for that respect. I know you made this, but what if like Metro had done that? On that album especially, you know.
And not even so much that I want to have to make everything, because that is something that I've thought of a lot. Like there have been times, because like right now, it's gotten so much better. But a year ago, I was doing everything.
Yeah.
You know, before I met, you know, the people that I know now, and I was doing it because like I had to.
Right.
You know, eventually, like I'm just thinking to myself, okay, like eventually I want to have other people, you know, be contributing to the projects as well. You know, that would be cool. Produce maybe like a number of the tracks.
It's dope that you're not like super tied to that. Like I have to do everything.
But it's definitely trying to stay away from being, you know, the gimmick, kind of thing.
It's such a tough thing because people are bombarded with so much stuff, and the way their attention spans are, that like a lot of people don't want to be typecast or whatever. But unless you do that to yourself, people need a way to categorize. Like they can't, they'll never like be able to keep track of you. They'll never be able to describe you to their friend. Like they can't even share about you. You know, it's a weird thing that artists have to deal with.
There's nothing wrong with, I have to say, because I don't want anybody that, you know, does what we're talking about.
Comments?
No, because like I have a few friends that are just, you know, a few fellow artists. Shout out to Suevo, who was on my EP.
First song.
Yeah, first song. That was amazing, because like he's just like a beast of a musician and artist, you know. So, but yeah, like there's nothing wrong with, you know, playing and then rapping. It's just, you know, sort of when you don't have that following. You know, I wanted to kind of like ease everybody into it. You know, just be like, okay, I just rap. You know,
it's a nice bonus fact. Like they get into it, and then oh wait, they read the liner notes, and like oh wait, he did that too. Because I feel you. It's sometimes it's a force where you're right. The points add up to, because they're spread across multiple categories, but you don't want to. I feel what you're saying 100% on that.
You know, as you grow, it's like you don't have to really worry about it so much. You know,
but that shouldn't be the selling point of why people want to listen to you. Oh, and he made the beat.
Exactly.
No, like it's a great song.
Yep. And that's kind of what I wanted.
Then after you're nodding your head, he made the beat too.
Yeah, it's kind of what I wanted, the non-biased, you know, just feedback from people.
Word. We'll delete everything in this interview where you mentioned production.
Cool. Sounds good.
I'm joking. We're not going to do that. This is dope. Unless you want us to, but I think it's been pretty good.
Get rid of it. Nah.
It's gone. Dude, is there anything you wanted to talk about that we didn't?
Can't think of anything. I mean, no, just, thanks for having me.
You're welcome.
It was an honor.
Word. This is the first interview, right?
Yeah, this is the first interview. Like,
that's what's up.
Yeah, when I got your message, I was like, wait, what? who wants to do what? So yeah.
That's what's up.
It's cool.
Shout out King Philip. Shout out everybody that follows LFOD and does comment when we ask questions like this, because we want to talk to who you want us to talk to. You're the first one we've done too. We didn't know what was going to happen when we made those posts, and we heard about you. Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate it. Let people know where they can find you on everything.
It's the same everywhere.
Thank you.
On Instagram, Teddy Meanface. Twitter, basically, yeah.
Yeah, Teddy Meanface everywhere. Odd Boy 2 out now.
Yeah.
Philly. Yo, thank you.
That's what's up.
Appreciate it, man.
You too. Thanks.
All right.
Positivity is a better movement. Let us do this. Level up and get into this evolution. Revolutionary method music. Get us choosing everything but less excuses. Shout out to the kings and queens with everything to lose. They never lose it.
There's so much glory in the story.